The following message has been transmitted at the request of the Philadelphia Police Department and the Centers for Missing and Exploited Children. This is a child abduction emergency. At approximately 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Parkway West High School girls volleyball team departed for a volleyball competition that was to take place at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this evening. However, the volleyball team never arrived at the venue, and the bus which was transporting them was last seen driving at a high speed through Wissahickon Valley Park at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with bystanders stating that the bloodied hands of the team could be seen banging on the windows of the bus. The Philadelphia Police Department and the Centers for Missing and Exploited Children are asking that anyone who believes they have seen this vehicle dial 911 at once and report their location and the status of the vehicle, and if at all possible, the volleyball team. The bus is a standard Philadelphia Department of Transportation bus with the electronic heading stating 425 East Staten Street. The driver has been described as a 60 to 70-year-old Caucasian male standing around 5 feet 9 inches tall, wearing a black suit coat, black suit pants, and donning an all-black Philadelphia Phillies baseball cap, along with large rounded glasses, with a polarized tint. Again, if you see this bus, or its driver, contact 911 at once, and report your location, and what you have seen. The emergency notification system has been activated. The following message has been transmitted at the request of the Philadelphia Police Department and the Pennsylvania Bureau of Investigations. This is a law enforcement warning for Philadelphia County. Approximately 30 minutes ago, a nurse at Chestnut Hill Hospital located at 8835 Germantown Avenue in Philadelphia contacted authorities to report that, while on a break, they discovered the charred remains of the missing bus that was said to be carrying the Parkway West girls volleyball team. Firefighters as well as members of the Pennsylvania Bureau of Investigations arrived on the scene 20 minutes later, and upon boarding the bus, discovered the skeletal remains of the Parkway West girls volleyball team, along with its driver, with the exception of one lone survivor from the girls volleyball team whose identity is known at this time, but cannot be disclosed to the public. She is currently being treated for minor burns at Chestnut Hill Hospital. Within the past 5 minutes, however, the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority, who operate bus and rapid transit operations within the county, have reported that approximately 3 additional buses have been noticed on a course for Wissahickon Valley Park, with all of the vehicles unreachable by the agency. Citizens have also reported seeing similar bloodied handprints on these buses when they have passed them on the roads. However, these buses, according to the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority, have seemingly appeared out of nowhere, as they do not appear anywhere on their website, and those who have seen these vehicles have reported that their electronic reader boards display no headings. Furthermore, they are reporting that their operating schedules have seemingly been tampered with, and that many other unregistered buses have been reported operating throughout the county. At this time, the Philadelphia Police Department and the Pennsylvania Bureau of Investigations are requesting that anyone who can hear this message and spots a bus which displays no electronic reader board headings contact 911 at once, and that if you see a bus that has no heading, that you do not board these vehicles. Further information will be transmitted as it becomes available. This has been an activation of the emergency notification system for Philadelphia County. If you are not in this local area and are hearing this message, please disregard it and continue about your day. This message will repeat in 1 minute.
Good evening, Philadelphia. This is David Morris with the WPHT News Bulletin. As you may have heard over the emergency notification system, a strange and as of yet unexplainable phenomenon has been occurring throughout the metro area this Halloween evening, with what appears to be road drivers for the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority deciding that their passengers are in for their final trips, with the destination in all 4 of the currently documented cases ending up in Wissahickon Valley Park. Even more confusing is the reports that there are survivors of these road buses, with an unconfirmed 5 survivors being transported to Chestnut Hill Hospital from the charred wreckage of the crashed buses, according to those familiar with the situation. Even as we speak, there are reports of an additional 10 buses, which have seemingly been impacted by what can only be described as an outbreak of mass psychosis within the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority's drivers, leading these drivers to begin a one-way trip to the grave for anyone unfortunate enough to have boarded these vehicles. A spokesperson from the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority stated to us just 10 minutes ago that they are investigating why their drivers are seemingly coming down with death wishes in droves, but they have stated that all of these buses seem to have been driven by individuals who all have nearly identical appearances, and seemingly all chose to embark on this path of madness together. We had, however, also heard reports to the contrary from other members of the press, and even a spokesperson for the Pennsylvania Bureau of Investigations reporting that unconfirmed reports state that these drivers may not be employed by SEPTA in the first place, and that there may be a more nefarious situation at play here in the Philly metro area. In related news, Police Chief Kevin Bethel has reassured parents that trick-or-treating will be allowed to continue as previously scheduled, and that while these incidents are continuing to take place, they appear to be isolated to Wissahickon Valley Park as of this moment, and that the greater Philly metro area should remain safe for kiddos to get some well-deserved treats this evening, as long as parents ensure to drive their children themselves, if vehicular transportation is required. Bethel also states that along with the Pennsylvania Bureau of Investigations, the Philadelphia Police Department will consider closing all roadways and public gathering places should these incidents continue to take place, and depending on the severity of damage caused, that they may need to call in assistance from the National Guard to ensure that all drivers operating vehicles on Saturday are operating in good faith. This has been a WPHT News Bulletin on this Friday, October 31st, 2025.
The following message has been transmitted at the request of the Philadelphia Police Department and the Pennsylvania Bureau of Investigations. This is a shelter-in-place warning for the city of Philadelphia, to take effect as of this broadcast, and will remain in effect until 8 a.m. Saturday. Approximately 15 minutes ago, all 15 buses which had been reported as hijacked on course for Wissahickon Valley Park, including those which were confirmed destroyed, have begun to depart the park, along with an additional 35 buses which have emerged from the park which were previously unreported, and have begun speeding down residential streets, and attempting to impact those partaking in Halloween festivities. The drivers of these buses are reported to match the identity of Subject 00, a highly dangerous and believed deceased criminal responsible for the kidnapping and subsequent disappearance of Aristides Roberts in Los Angeles, California on January 22, 2022. As of this broadcast, there have been reported 40 fatalities and 250 injuries as a result of this rampage at the hands of Subject 00. At this time, all Halloween festivities within the city are suspended, and anyone hearing this message is to return to their homes at once, and seek the lowest or most secure location in your home to protect you and your family from this baffling series of events. The Pennsylvania Bureau of Investigations and the Philadelphia Police Department have since requested assistance from the National Guard, in order to quell this series of vehicular attacks. Further information will be transmitted as it becomes available. This is 12:20 WPHT AM. We have interrupted regularly scheduled programming to participate in the emergency notification system. If you are not in this local area, please disregard this message. The emergency notification system has been activated. The following is an urgent bulletin from the Philadelphia Police Department and the Department of Defense. This is a civil danger warning for the Philadelphia metro area. At approximately 5:50 p.m. this evening, civil authorities attempting to quell the ongoing situation in the Philadelphia metro area observed that the vehicles which were previously observed attempting to ram into and injure or kill residents partaking in Halloween festivities have now resorted to ramming into homes of residents who were obeying the ongoing shelter-in-place order, and have been exiting their vehicles and abducting residents, driving them to Wissahickon Valley Park, and sacrificing them to a recently formed pit of fire, where the first vehicle had crashed some time ago. It has also since been confirmed that the survivor from the Parkway West girls volleyball team is the sister of Aristides Roberts, Erica Roberts. She has stated that this may be tied to some sort of sacrificial ritual to revive an unknown being, which Subject 00 believes can connect him with the fleet of ships which has remained stationary over Lambeau Field since January 2022. The Department of Defense has received a bulletin from the Intergalactic Carnival and its leader, Subject 0, who has stated they are monitoring the situation carefully, and will be advising citizens, if they believe the attacks on humanity, which have remained at a standstill since January of 2022, are to resume. At this time, residents are asked to seek out armed protection, and be prepared to defend themselves, should one of the rogue vehicles crash into your home, as their drivers will attempt to abduct and massacre you and your family. Further information will be transmitted as it becomes available. The emergency notification system has been activated.